All right, talking Red Sox on the Sports Wrap with Nick Friar. And Nick, opening day a week from Monday. Let's start with Chris Sale, who looked excellent last night. 10 strikeouts over 6 innings. He said he was approaching it like a regular season game, and the results showed.
Yeah, and he got 6 innings out of him, 10 strikeouts. That's the big thing, yeah. 10 strikeouts. I know it's a spring training game, but it's against the, pretty much the real Yankees lineup, which is always good to see the Red Sox beating up on the Yankees. Doesn't matter if it's spring training or not. The big thing with him, though, is you talked about how he had all his pitches working, his changeup, his fastball, and his slider. And that slider, Yianni, yeah. I mean, we talked about Price's slider coming in when they first got him. Sales puts it to shame.
Well, the one strikeout where the guy threw his bat into the stands, he was completely fooled.
Oh yeah, they had no chance.
So right now, obviously, with Price on the shelf, do you think Sale is the bona fide #1 right now?
I think he was even without Price, to be honest. I mean, Sale's clearly the better pitcher just in terms of stuff alone. I know he's kind of got a funky, rotation or a windup, I should say. But, Price kind of did too to an extent. So I definitely always looked at Sale as being the #1 on pretty much any team in all of baseball, never mind this team.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about David Price. Since that elbow injury, we haven't really seen him pitch with any sort of consistency. He says he wants to get back to stay back and not just to get back. So are you buying into this timetable taking a little bit longer?
Yeah, it has to if he has any chance of making it, but I really can't see him making it the whole season, to be honest. I mean, anything with your elbow or your forearm, it just red flags go up. Like I told you, it was 20 starts, I think I said, but now knowing he's going to start late, I still don't think he's going to finish the season, so it might be even less, but more along 12, 15 starts at the end of the day with him.
So if the Red Sox can weather the storm without Price, what is an ideal first start for David Price this year?
Ideal first start, I would say in June, really, to just give him a lot of time to try and relax, take his time, because he needs time at the end of the day with all this if he has any hope of making it into the postseason. And they'll be fine without him. I mean, this team was still considered a World Series contender, after the season without Chris Sale. So I think you've upgraded by adding Sale and losing Price as much as you still want to have Price.
All right, one of the bright spots to this spring training has been the play of Pablo Sandoval. We know he lost some weight. He's hitting the ball. He's playing pretty well defensively. How surprised are you that Pablo Sandoval is actually playing to the level we saw in San Francisco?
I'm very surprised, because one thing I always think about with Sandoval is back when, after they won one of the World Series, he went and lost a lot of weight. He worked out. They had the whole Showtime series on him, the franchise, and he lost a lot of weight. And then the next year he came out and was not that good. He was actually worse than the previous year. Now he's losing weight and he's actually playing well, so it kind of makes sense. It's good to see that. He had 2 home runs the other day, hitting over 300 in the spring. And look, numbers in the spring don't usually mean a lot, but in this case they absolutely do, because Sandoval needed to prove that he's ready to contribute to this team.
So if he solidifies that starting third baseman job, where does that leave Brock Holt?
He's a super utility man, where he belongs to an extent. I mean, I think Holt is a better player than that. I still think he's better served in the National League, but to have him on this team, to be able to give everybody pretty much a day off at any point, without really skipping much of a beat, is huge. So he's just going to be the utility guy.
He can play all the positions, so
not
he'll
what
be
he
out
wants,
there.
but it'll work.
Drew Pomeranz dealing with some injury issues. A lot of people starting to get on Dombrowski for that trade last year. How do you see Pomeranz integrating himself back into the rotation or the bullpen?
I am very worried about Drew Pomeranz. A, because he's not as good as David Price, and B, because he had that injection in his elbow. I know his triceps was bothering him, but there's just so many issues with him right now. He's another guy who I don't know that he's going to make it all the way. And I think he will actually start the season with the team. His bullpen went well the other day. I don't know how good he'll look, but I can see him kind of petering off around July at the earliest. Maybe even sooner, to be honest. But Kyle Kendrick, that acquisition is starting to look like it made a lot of sense now.
Some people calling for Clay Buchholz. Are you one of those?
Oh man, I wouldn't mind Clay Buchholz back, but the trade is done. It was the right move. It had to be done at the end of the day.
The fact that Buchholz is still in the Red Sox conversation is
remarkable, isn't it?
Remarkable. All right, Nick Friar, thanks so much for joining us. Good stuff, and you'll be in leading up to opening day next Monday, Red Sox and Pirates.